Hi, everybody. It's Mr. Monica again. Today we're going to read a story from an author that I've read before. It's Leo Leone. And today we're going to read a story called Mr. McMouse. I'm reading this book today with permission from Troll Associates. Mr. McMouse from Leo Leone. Whenever Timothy saw himself in the mirror, he felt happy. What a good-looking city mouse I am, he thought. But one day, instead of himself, Timothy saw a strange creature dressed in black staring at him from the mirror. He jumped back, let out a shriek, and ran for his life. Timothy ran out of the building that had been his home from the day he was born, and he kept running all the way to the outskirts of town. Only when he came to the country road did Timothy dare to slow down and think things over. What had happened? Where could he go? He knew that he couldn't go back home. No one would recognize him in his new guise. That means his new look. He had no choice. He had to go on. But first, he needed a quiet place to rest. It was not long before he found a charming spot where tall weeds grew among colorful rounded pebbles. As he was catching his breath, he heard a noise. Some field mice were observing him from behind the large boulders. They looked frightened. Timothy was frightened too. How could he possibly explain that he was nothing but an ordinary, innocent city mouse? Suddenly the weeds parted, and a little field mouse stepped boldly forward. "Hello," she said. "I'm Spinny. What's your name?" I am, mumbled Timothy, confused. The field mice stared at him. Spinny smiled. "Never mind," she said. "I'll give you a name. Mr. McMouse." Timothy was surprised. "How did you know I was a mouse?" "Who else but a mouse would have a tail like yours?" said Spinny. Then, as the other mice went about their business, Spinny pointed to a beautiful mound of boulders. "We live over there in the castle. Come with me. Perhaps you can stay with us," she said. Timothy, who felt that he had found a friend, was happy to follow her. As they went, Spinny explained all the things he should know and do if he chose to live in the castle. "If you want to stay for good," she warned, "you will have to get a field mouse license. And for that, you'll have to pass some tests. But don't worry, I'll arrange everything." So Spinny invited Mr. McMouse to come live with her, but Mr. McMouse was going to have to pass a test first. The very next day, the tests began. And the first one was the tickleberry test. Tickleberries? I've never heard of those. "You see, field mice don't eat cheese," Spinny told Timothy. "Only nuts, berries, and grain. But that will be easy. Tickleberries are delicious." When the mice had assembled on the test grounds, Spinny led Timothy to the berry heap. She then climbed high into the lookout tree to watch the show. But alas, the test did not last long. After a few berries, Timothy gave up. "I'm sorry," he said. "I just can't eat berries." They make me sick. That would have been a lot of berries to eat anyways. Next, Timothy was supposed to run to the heather field and back, but he got only as far as the field, where Bonyback the turtle found him lying in the heather, hopelessly out of breath. "Here is Mr. McMouse," said Bonyback. "He was lucky to find a cab." Everyone laughed, except Timothy. He knew that without a license, he would have to leave. Now there was one more test left, the tree climbing test. "Cheer up, Mr. McMouse," said Spinny. "I am sure you can pass this one." Timothy got off to a good start, but when he was halfway up the trunk, Spinny saw a black cat slowly nearing the tree, its muscles taut, ready for a leap. "Cat!" she yelled as loud as she could. In less than a second, all the mice had disappeared. Only Timothy and Spinny were still running, and the cat just a few feet behind. Ooh, I hope they don't get caught by the cat. What do you think's going to happen? Let's see. Just as the cat was about to pounce on them, Timothy saw an old rusty trap lying half hidden in the weeds. "Inside!" he shouted, pulling Spinny with him. The cat slid to a sudden halt. "What now?" said Spinny in a desperate little voice. "You'll see," said Timothy, pulling Spinny as close to the back wall as he could. Well, that's a pretty big black cat. The cat hesitated, yawned, and lay down right in front of the trap. Timothy smiled mysteriously. "Don't worry," he whispered. Then he looked the cat straight in the eye, and with the softest voice he could muster, he sang this lullaby. "Close your eyes and call your sheep. Count them as they run and leap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All these sheep will go to heaven. Go to sleep, it's getting late. Dreams will bring you number 8. By now, the cat was peacefully snoring away. "This is our moment, Spinny," Timothy whispered. They tiptoed out of the trap, and off they ran. On License Day, groups of chatty mice gathered in Castle Square. When finally the head mouse called Spinny and Timothy to the speaker stand, there was thundering applause. For by now, every mouse in the castle knew their story. And when the head mouse handed Timothy an honorary field mouse license and Spinny a special medal for bravery, happier mice had never been seen. The end. So, my friends, you can see that although Timothy, or Mr. McMouse, could not pass the test, they gave him a license anyways because he was so smart and so brave that he saved Spinny and himself from that black cat. Hope you enjoyed the story today, my friends, of Mr. McMouse from Leo Leone. Have a great day, everybody.